So it is Monday after a 3-day weekend. It is June. It is getting warmer. Wanted to talk to you about, make sure we stick on consistency. I want to push this hard on. We talked about this. Make sure that you're consistent on your lead gen, on your contacts, because that's going to translate into business. Thelma just had, as he said, a good open house. So open houses are still translating very well to contacts if you need that way. But please hone your skills. I want to talk to you also. There's a lot of things happening right now in the marketplace. So just so you know, and this is just sort of a broker update, there are new June forms that are coming out, released for car. You will see a video update here soon for that, so please look out for that. But that's also, if you go into Zip Forms, you log in, you can look at it there. It's on the car website as well, so just note that. Two, also, the Fed actually, because of inflation due to the war in Iran, kept rates the same. They didn't drop rates. Some thought they would increase rates, so that's good. Trump's new appointee got into the chair position, but it's still a committee. They have to vote. So we'll see if they start pushing rates down. But most people are projecting no rate reduction. Even if the Fed reduce rates, they don't actually control the interest rates. They just control another rate that affects it. But most people are not projecting a reduction in mortgage rates, at least through the end of the year. So please know affordability is still going to be the main issue going forward. So two key things with that. One is you got to make sure your listings, your sellers list appropriately to the price in the market right now. We can look at it, but here, I'll show you guys. And if you are going on listing appointments, you should show this to your sellers. So let's go to share my screen. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. We're through June now. I mean, this is just through May, but June numbers are same one month ago, change. We're going up in June. So for sale is down 11%, but pendings and sold are up. So just so you know, even through the month of June, 21 days, pendings are up 10%, sales are up 1%, even though the number of listings are going down. So people are pulling houses off market, but the number of pendings and sales are increasing. So the buyers are out there still right now. The buyers are out there. And you can see this red line, which is the pending, is trending up. So we're going to see that light green, which is the listings, trend back down. But just so you know, you're going to see green up and red up. So just note the buyers are there. They're out there. But I want to show you this one. Here you go. This is the average days on market. And just so you know, it is trending down. So right now we are at 41 days on market average. So if you are have a listing that's more than 40 days, you are likely overpriced. So just FYI, that's something you should note. And that is coming down, and this actually held about it. But we are at 98%, which has actually come up a lot. So 98% on average sold to list price. So that means buyers on average are coming in 2% below list price when they close. So, and that's not even including credits. So think about credits on top of that, 2% below list price. So let's talk about a $500,000 house. 2% is $10,000 plus credits. So if you comped a house at 500, for example, I would recommend a 490 price. And anticipate your sellers that they're going to have a credit ask with those, just to kind of get the traction and movement that you need with the home. So just understand there's comps and then there's the market, and I need you guys to understand that. And this is the thing is comps and market, which is comps tell you what's happened in the past. Market is how you can sell it now. And right now, listings that are overpriced sit. So if you want to get going, you have to price under market, which this is saying about 2% under market will get you traction in the market. So please note the numbers don't lie. That's important to know something. I also want to show you months of inventory. We are at 2.7 months and is trending up in June to 3.1 months. That is becoming a very soft market. Usually 2 to 3 months in Sacramento is the middle point between a seller and buyer market, be or even. So we are trending heavy to a buyer market, which means the buyers control price, which may push more credits, more pricing down. So you have to let your sellers know and that's a 20% move just in 1 month or 21 days. So just know inventory is increasing. That means less and less houses, less let me go back here. All the houses, all these listings that have been coming up, a lot of them are not selling, and so they're coming off the market, right, at a good rate. That's why you see the decline in listings, 11% decline in listings. So that's people. That's expired and canceled, right, coming off the market. So when talking with sellers, one script I heard that was really good, and I said this before. So when you talk with sellers and they're talking about price, the price that they're recommending, put that in a PITI calculator, principal, interest, taxes, insurance calculator. You can just get one of those online, or there's apps for this, and show them the payment and say, would you pay this payment for your house? Because they probably have a COVID loan at 2.5%, and they're trying to sell with someone who's going to have a 6% interest rate. So give them the payment amount. Say, would you make this payment for your house if you bought your house, as a way to talk them down. Remember, the number one way to address affordability conversations with both buyers and sellers is to get it off interest rates and to get it to payments. Does it make sense? The money per month makes much easier for someone to understand, evaluate, and see and evaluate if it's expensive or not. So when a buyer says, "Oh, that house is too expensive," say, "This is the payment. What would you want the payment to be?" That will get you an easier way to do it. But I want you, and we can. I did a previous. This is all kind of new, but I did a previous group. We did discussions on how to handle your payments discussion at open houses, or having discussion about affordability with payments, or we can talk about seller discussions or seller stuff discussions about talking about getting the right price. I want to take these talk tracks. So are these conversation tracks? What would you guys prefer, talking about to sellers about how to set up the conversation to price appropriately, or do you want to talk about the buyers, how to talk to buyers about getting them to convert based on payments affordability? You guys have any? Not today, but I just want to set this track going forward. So go ahead. Eunice.
So right now I'm listening to you. I do agree with you in kind of giving them the tools, not the complete toolkit referring payments. I agree with you in the sense of kind of, like asking them, do you agree to pay, this monthly payment, or to have this monthly payment? According to your experience, you do recommend for us to have more conversion or have more appointments to talk about this tool that you share with us?
Say that again. I'm not
Is
clear.
it, yeah. So I am convinced that if you talk numbers, not all of it, because we're not experts on numbers, we're not the lenders.
Correct.
And I like the tool that you gave us right now. If you could just share it, so I can write it down. And talk to sellers, or, well, in this case, buyers, to discuss the monthly payments they want to make and have that conversation turn into more conversions. You do recommend for us to do that, right? At
So
open
yeah. So
houses,
for
for
example,
example. Okay.
let me give you an example. If I was I'm at an open house, and for example, the house is 500,000, right? Sale. Hold on. PIT calculator. Hold on. There's an app. Hold on.
What's the name of the app that you were mentioning?
The app I use is called Mortgage Pal loan calculator.
Okay. Okay.
And essentially, I haven't pulled it up, but say the payment is 500,000 is probably $3,500 a month. PIT, property, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Okay. And I'm at the open house and I talk to someone, say, here's the house, blah, blah, blah. You interested? They said no. And then I do a talk track where I say, hey, um, you know, okay, I understand this is maybe more than you can afford. What can you afford? And they'll say some number, monthly payment number. And I try to get them off rates to numbers. And then if they don't know, I say, are you paying a mortgage right now or are you paying rent right now? And they all are, one of the two. And then they'll say, okay, great. How's that rent or mortgage payment feel? Does it feel hard? Does it feel okay, manageable? Does it feel like easy? Where are you on your tolerance, right? And then if you have that discussion, you'll get to a payment amount. And I said, okay, say they say, well, 3,500 is a much, but probably something around 3,000 would feel more comfortable for us. Does that make sense? Now I've got them off interest rates 6%, 6.5%, whatever they're talking about. And I got them on payments. Now I got a real number for them. Now, what you can do is in your PIT calculator, right there, you can say, okay, drop the don't drop the price of the house, drop the interest rate. So the PIT calculator is going to put an average interest rate, whatever the current market is. Say it's 6.5 right now. Drop it from 6.5 to 6, and that will dramatically affect the payment. Make sense?
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
and then now I say, okay, look, if I on this house, say this house, and not that you're going to buy this house, but say you were buying a house at this price range, right? Which just seems to be the area you want, the quality you want, right? So if you were buying this house at 30, but you want a 3,000 payment, I would have to drop your rate from 6.5% to 6% on this loan that you're going to get. And the way I can do that is a buy down. We can ask the seller to buy down the rate, you know. And if you prep it right with your lender, you can say, we can talk about the amount of buy down, but maybe it's $10,000 to buy down the rate from 6.5 to 6. And if I do that, your payment's going to be $3,058 for this house. How does that sound? And they'll be like, wow, that sounds pretty good. And I go, this is just one of the various techniques or that I use with all my buyers to help them make the houses affordable in today's market, right? Would you like to sit down and talk about rate buy downs? So these are talk tracks I use, conversations to convert people in real time, right? You can talk, people can understand payments much better than they can understand interest rates. Interest rates are very abstract. Payments is what people really care about. And so you need to talk payment tracks. That's similar to the sellers. That's why I said, if I was doing a seller and they wanted to price their home and it's 500 and they want 550, which is very common today, I would say, hey, would you pay for this house? Say it comes out to 4,000 at 550. Would you pay $4,000 a month for your house? Because that's what you're asking buyers to do right now. And that's going to be a much, because their payment's probably on 2,700, and they're saying, see, you're in your reality, and a buyer's reality is they're looking at your house and they say, I have to pay 4,000 a month. And I can tell you there are other properties out there that would fetch 4,000. People would pay 4,000 much more than yours. And that's just reality. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's just reality. We need to price appropriately. I would show them how this is happening, right? How we have too many listings. Our inventory is 3.1 months, meaning we're in a buyer's market. That means we're going pretty fast, right? Um, sellers average price is coming in at 2% below list price, not including credits, right? These are discussions and talks that you need to have with sellers to get them to an appropriate price point. And if you want, I want to role play, say, a conversation around pricing for you guys for your listing discussions, and we can do both buy side and sell side if you want going forward, because I know those are going to be your biggest talk tracks going forward to get people moving forward. How does that sound? So, everyone good? No? Don't like this? Want to talk about something else?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's fine.
Everyone want
Good. This
keep
is good.
talking about this or not? So
Yeah.
is there okay? So it is 12:27 right now. So tomorrow I am going to do a little visual presentation and talk to you guys about how I present comps to a seller so that you can get them to list the price you want to list to. Make sense? So.
Yeah, I have a quick question, John.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, when you were presenting the trends, you said days on market, months of inventory. What was the third metric?
Days on market price, sold price versus list price. So.
Okay, that's right.
So right now we're at 98%, which means what are sellers listing their house at and what are buyers actually coming in at closing at? Make sense? And right now
Okay.
it's about 2% below what people are listing.
Okay, and this is the, sorry if there's any noise. Is this for Sacramento primarily? Will it be
You
okay
can
with?
change it if you look over here you can change it to any community you want to, city, zip code. You can change it to any county area. You can change timeline and price points. You can even change property types. So you can make it for city, Davis, right? And I show the chart. Here's Davis. So Davis is coming in at 1% below list price, right? Sold was, so spring got a bump, but you're already hitting summer, so pendings are trending down. Makes sense? But you can see here, look, this is where I tell you, like, for sale 80, which is down 13%, 25 sold, 16 pending. So, for example, if you want a lot of business, there was only 16 houses that went pending last month, or currently in June so far, 24 last month. So if you want more business than that, or you're probably going to have to go outside of Davis to get more business because there's just not a lot of transactions happening. Make sense? So this could also be a tool for you to evaluate where you are, right? So
Thank you.
months of inventory has come down, so they're down to 2.2%. So well, that's April, May, 1.6%. So that's good. So, but it looks like listings are coming down. Let's see. Oh no, solds. So basically, what's happening? So it's weird. So, the pending over the spring, it took a lot of the inventory out. So solds are higher, but it's hitting summer and is slowing down. But so that's your spring metric. So basically, not a lot of people were putting their houses on the market. See how that's even? So it kind of came up in February, March, and then stayed even. March, April, May, stayed even, and now not a bunch of listings are coming on. Most of the listings are staying, and then you see the buyers pulling down the inventory. So interesting. So this is stuff. If I was talking to a Davis listing seller, I would have this kind of discussion with them, right? So this is something you'll need to show them. Look, buyers are trending down, but the good news is buyers on the market now, the inventory is declining. So that means not a bunch of sellers are coming on the market. So if you're priced appropriately and coming on the market, even though buyers are trending down, there is not a lot of competition right now out there for sale. So long as we're priced competitively, we're probably going to get an offer. Make sense? So that's what this would tell me about. And that's how you, and okay, what a lot of people tell you, be the economist of choice for your sellers and buyers. This is how you be the economist of choice. This is how you show value. This is how you engender trust. This is how you convert at people at a high levels when you can interpret facts for them, right? So, okay. Questions. And then you can just put up here, put market summary. If you click this button, and it's going to make a summary for you. See, Davis. And so if you want, you can just hit market summary, print this out, and this is where you would talk to them about the stats, right? So that's an easy way to talk about it. We can also talk about this as well if you want to, presenting trends to sellers. So we got 3 chart tags, presenting trends to sellers. Heck, you could probably do it to buyers too. Actually, I would do it to buyers if you want them to price perfectly. 2, we can talk about how to talk to sellers about comps to get them to the price you want to, or how to talk to buyers to convert them based on your ability to make things affordable for them. Are we good with all 3 of those?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the next 3 days, we're going to talk those 3 tracks. Okay. So be prepared. We're going to talk about those 3 tracks: trends presentation to sellers, comps presentations to sellers to get them to the list price, and conversations with buyers to get them off of interest rates to affordability and payments. And how do we do that so that we can convert to appointment? Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Okay.